I have waited for this anime for so long. I have my little Pochita here with me and we are ready to go. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel for the first ever Chainsaw Man video. Like I said, I waited for this anime to drop for so long. People told me I have to read it, but I refused. I wanted to have an anime watcher experience for once. Something I will never have with Attack on Titan. So if you want to see me break down this show without any knowledge of the manga, let me know in the comments and subscribe for more. And of course, manga readers, I really hope you won't spoil it for me and just watch and see if I can make some correct predictions. For the past months, the hype of this show has gone through the roof. Also, myself, which mainly wanted to see this chubby dog, devil, chainsaw thing. Look at it, it's so cute! Not to mention, its voice actress made more money in a single episode than Nezuko's voice actress earned in 2 seasons. Well, that is just sad. So, for the people like me who are new to this anime, what is it about? The story takes place in a world where devils walk the streets and are hunted down by people known as devil hunters. In addition, there is also an open market for human body parts and dead devils, which doesn't skip on our protagonist, who also has several organs missing. Our protagonist, Denji, was orphaned at a young age after his father apparently took his own life. Knowing how anime work, I'm sure there is much more to that story, but anyway, this forces Denji to inherit his father's debt to the Yakuza, which in part he paid by selling some of his organs, but never really been able to get close to paying the entire debt. As a kid, he comes across a dog-like devil with a chainsaw for a nose and also this. Yeah, he saves him from dying by offering the devil some of his blood, which should help devils heal themselves. In return, Denji asks the little devil, whose name is Pochita, to help him hunt for devils. He then asks the Yakuza to employ him as a devil hunter in order to pay back the rest of his debt. Ever since then, Denji tries to pay off his debt by killing devils for money, but still not be able to live a normal life, which is the only thing he really wanted. Even the idea of people who have money to spread jam on their bread seems like a distant dream to him. As you can see, he refers to it as a story he once heard. He and Pochita live together in a small broken down shed, and right from the start we can see that Denji is stuck in a hopeless rat race, hustling each day to earn enough money to keep him and Pochita fed for another day. A race he will never be able to get out of. That makes him take every job he can find and even tolerate ridiculous tasks just for the sick amusement of others who treat him like a dog. That part really made me sad, by the way. Denji is clearly alone in the world, and meeting Pochita was a life changer for both of them. They both sleep together, share food, and try to hustle through life. They share the same struggle, living off the bare minimum, which mostly amounts to a piece of stale bread at the end of the day. Later in the episode, we get to see some moments of them and see how Denji feels about his little devil friend. Under constant fear he might end up dead while hunting devils, Denji shares his concerns with Pochita. But his concerns is not for himself, it's actually for Pochita, which was so heartwarming to watch. The thing that upsets him the most is the idea of Pochita being left alone with no one to take care of him. He wants Pochita to live a normal happy life and die a normal death. I think that is one of the things that touched me the most, mainly because it reminded me of someone from a different story who had the same wish for his friends. That sets Denji right from the start as a compassionate individual, and I bet that is going to show in future episodes as well. Denji heard that some devils can take over human bodies, which I guess is an extremely important issue in that story. He tells Pochita to take over his body in case he'll die, so Pochita could fit in and live happily. And we will return to this very soon because it's pretty important for what's coming up next. But the thing I love the most about this relationship is Denji trying to be a security blanket for Pochita, something he never had for himself. He never had someone to take care of him, so he tries his best to make sure Pochita won't end up in the same way. And really, that is just so adorable, I wanna cry. And yes, I am a huge dog lover and I raised the dog for 19 years, and even though she's not with me anymore, I completely understand the special bond between a person and their little friends. Going back to the episode, we see them both again in their broken down shed, sharing a piece of bread as usual, when the Yakuza boss comes by to tell Denji he has another job for him. He takes him to an abandoned warehouse, and that's where things get much worse. It seems that some of the Yakuza members started acting like Denji, deciding to make contracts with devils to gain more power, and now he doesn't need Denji anymore. Denji and Pochita suddenly get stabbed from behind. From here, it's just sad seeing Denji try to escape the devils, which some of them seem to be acting like basic zombies, while others are clearly more in control and therefore also more powerful. He carries Pochita with him trying to save his life, but they are struck along the way, and in the end, the group of devils rips Denji apart. That is where we see Denji's flashback for the first time, and right after we see him torn apart in the dumpster. But we also see Pochita attached to his body, in a way that really reminded me of Migi fixing the heart of Shinichi Izumi, the protagonist of Parasite the Maxim. Denji then gets to meet Pochita in some afterlife type scenario. He asks Pochita if he did what he told him. Did he take his body as he asked him to? But to Denji's surprise, Pochita speaks and tells Denji he always loved hearing him talk about his dreams. He offers him a deal. He will give Denji his heart, and in return, Pochita wants Denji to show him his dream. Denji then suddenly wakes up alive in the dumpster, with Pochita gone and a strange cord sticking out of his chest, which he recognizes as Pochita's tail. Here I have to raise a question about the nature of this act, and I believe it may be some important detail. Unlike Shinichi from Parasite, who was revived after being severely injured, Denji seems to be more in the realms of a full-on revival, because to me, he looked pretty much dead. I could be wrong here of course, but for a first episode I try to pick up on every little detail I can find and work around it. So anime watchers, tell me what you think about that. Denji is amazed the devils are still coming at him, even after they had so much, and he realizes they remind him of himself. He too wasn't satisfied with what he had with Pochita and always wanted more. Perhaps everyone has those dreams of wanting more. That's why he can't blame them, but he will also won't let them stand in his way. They will all die. He pulls on his chest cord as soon as all of them stack on top of him trying to eat his body. I really appreciated his transformation being a bit delayed because it added a lot, and a few moments later a chainsaw roars and all of them go flying. Denji stands with his new devilish appearance, having 2 chainsaws on his arms and 1 on his actual face. Great character design by the way, and I loved it. From that point, all hell breaks loose as he demolishes all of the pack, including the leading one controlling them. Blood, blood, and more blood. Absolutely brutal, and I loved it. The CGI looks great, as you can expect from MAPPA, and this whole fight seems chaotic and extremely fun. And a word about censorship. There is none. That was expected because apparently MAPPA's high commander or supreme leader or whatever really likes this manga, so he promised there will be no censorship, and he wasn't lying. Everything is bloody, gory, and in your face. That is something I have to give credit for. Denji just wiped out the Yakuza, or at least a branch of it, which makes him now debt-free. Soon after, we see 3 devil hunters step into the empty warehouse to kill the zombie devil, and they find everyone dead, with Denji the last one standing. The female, Makima, which is also the character I have been hearing the most about, comes closer to him. She states that he smells funny, not like a human, but also not like a devil. Despite his monstrous appearance, she grabs him as he falls into her arms, and his devil look melts down to reveal regular Denji. The group questions if he might be possessed, but Makima is positive that he isn't. She then gives him 2 options, to die as a devil, or she can keep him as a human. She promises to take care of him and keep him fed, which is exactly what he tried to do with Pochita, placing Denji in a position where he is treated almost like a pet. For Denji, that sounds fine, and he asks her what's for breakfast, and she gives him a detail of a very basic breakfast for most people. But for Denji, it is something he never had, just like he only heard about people eating jam with their toast. They look at each other and Denji simply says, "That sounds wonderful." That is the end of the first episode of Chainsaw Man, and I really have high expectation for this new brutal anime. And that is my first ever video covering it, so let me know if you want me to keep on going, analyzing the hell out of it. Only as an anime watcher, but with the same level you are used to from my Attack on Titan videos I am mostly known for. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you all soon in my next video and even sooner in the comments. Just remember to always cherish your pets. They are our little friends and they love us unconditionally. And before I go, just a quick reminder to dedicate your hearts to humanity, inside and outside the walls.